Hey, you guys, I am here with my friend Becca. I had posted about the subject of cheating, and she had reached out and said that she was willing to talk about it. And so we got to hang out for a couple of hours and get to know each other a little bit more. And she wants to talk about some of her past experiences. And this may be a two-parter. We will see how far we get. We got a short amount of time to do this. So, hey, Becca, how are you?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
I am good. I'm good. It was nice hanging out with you, and you wanted to kind of talk about your experience. Hopefully it's, therapeutic for you, and we'll go from there. So I will let you talk and ask a couple of questions as we go along.
Okay. Well, I will start with my ex-husband. We met in 2010. We got married in 2011 and divorced in 2016
Wow.
because he cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to the point where there was no going back to fix things. And so I filed for divorce.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So was he trying to make things work after you found out?
So he tried to tell me that he was never cheating on me and that nothing ever happened, but me and my cousin caught him red-handed with his whole girlfriend.
So he had a whole second life,
Yes,
basically.
he was living a double life, and I had no idea because he had two jobs.
So
Yeah.
did the girlfriend know?
I think she did. So the crappy part about this whole situation, I mean, it's done, it's over with. I'm healed from it. But I still don't know the full exact truth because
Yeah.
even with me catching him red-handed at the airport with her, he told me that it was his cousin. It was not his cousin.
And she was there?
Yeah.
And what did she say? What? Cousin?
No. So it didn't even get there. It escalated extremely quickly. Okay, so do you want me to kind of give you
Yeah.
the
Leading
what
up to
happened?
it?
Or
Yes,
okay, leading
yes,
up. Okay.
absolutely. Give me the juice.
So he had came into my old work. I was a manager at a payday loan check cashing place, and he came into my work, and I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cute. And then he came in again, and then I was like, and then we started talking a little bit, and then we I had broken up with somebody within the last 6 months before I had met him, and one of my friends was like, oh, you should try online dating. And so I just made a profile, and then he matched with me. He swiped on me, and I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that comes into my work.
Yeah.
So I matched with him, and we went on a date almost immediately. And well, we were talking back and forth. I was like, you came into my work, I thought you were cute. He's like, yeah, same, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up going on a date went well. We just started dating basically right after that. Both deleted our profiles. Well, I don't know if he did, but I did. And it was it just kind of worked out. First person, I had met him a few times, and whatever. We started dating, going out and doing stuff. And then he told me he loved me, and I was like, well, I love you too. And because I felt like I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he ended up moving in with me about at the 6-month mark.
Okay.
Which was pretty quick. Typically don't move like that. But he moved in, and then we just kept talking about our future, and we just decided to get married. And we got married on 11/11/11, and I just liked the number sequence, and I thought it was cool. So we got married, and everything seemed like it was great. I was in my management position. He worked two jobs. His evening job was he was trying to become a nurse, and so he was, I don't know what, the one right below a nurse, he had that credentialing and was going to be moving forward to going into schooling to become a nurse. But is that even true? I don't know, because he was supposed to have the night off, and then he was getting called into work, and then like we would have plans, and then he got called into work, and that started happening more frequently, and then nothing seemed off in the relationship. He would try to like push my buttons and stuff like that just to like get a reaction from me, but other than that, like we didn't like fight. Like we had a solid relationship, and then one night I woke up in the middle of the night and he was gone, like straight up just gone. And I was trying to call him and it was going straight to voicemail, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? I left him a voicemail and text message, and then the next day he had said he got called into work, and I'm like, okay, like you could have let me know.
Yeah.
And so then like things just weren't adding up, and I had a suspicion that something was going on.
Gut instinct.
Yep. And so it happened again, and this time it was like on a weekend night. It was again anywhere between 1 to 3 a.m. and
you woke up and he was gone.
He's gone. So this time I go driving by his friend's house that lived by us. I drove by his aunt's house that lived down the road from us. I'm not finding his car. And I'm calling him, and
straight to voicemail again.
Straight to voicemail. Like one of the times it rang through, so I feel like he was rejecting my calls. And then it was like nothing. And then once again, he had the story that he got called into work, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be some sort of communication with me when you're getting called into work. Just because, leaving in the middle of the night, you're gone, I'm panicking. I'm not believing him. So now at this point, the relationship is starting to get weird.
Yeah.
I'm starting to question him and like what he's doing, where he's going. Then he booked a trip to go visit some family in New York. And how he told me that he booked this trip, now this isn't like fast forward to 2015. How he tells me is that I had to have gallbladder surgery, and I'm recovering, and he tells me he booked a trip to New York just for himself to go visit his family.
It's his family, but you're not invited.
Yes. So huge red flag.
Right.
And I'm like, had just had surgery. Like, what the fuck?
How rude.
Yeah. And so, like my family's there, like he's there, and I'm like trying to process, I'm all high on drugs from
the surgery.
Yeah. And I'm like trying to process like what's going on. And, I get released like the next day to go home. And then, I don't remember I think it was like a Wednesday that I went home, and he was leaving that Friday. Like it was quick. I believe his vacation, like whatever it was 7 days. Oh, it was like a week. And I took him to the airport, and then wait, hold on. No, I did not take him to the airport. I'm sorry. I was recovering from surgery.
Right.
I was supposed to pick him up from the airport. Okay. I don't know how he got to the airport now that I'm thinking about it. He got his trip, his his ride to the airport from whoever he got his ride from. So we're in communication throughout his trip, and he knew I was upset. Sorry, let me rewind a little bit. I got hung up on the who took him to the airport.
Right.
I was upset with him, and I was vocalizing that I was upset, and I thought it was rude, and like he like basically like it was like I was totally blindsided by the fact that he's, going on vacation or to visit his family, a trip, whatever you want to call it, all of the above, without me.
Yeah, why would you book a trip without your wife to see family?
Behind my back, too. So
right.
It's just like, and at the right time where it was like, oh, you're having surgery, so...
You're stuck at home.
And then, so then it's like, okay, like my husband's not there to like help me. Like, I didn't really need a lot of help anyway.
And there's no kids.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have kids?
No.
Okay.
No kids. And, so it was, we were in contact with one another, and while he was while it was in New York, and, then, I knew his flight was coming in on a Saturday night, and I believe it was supposed to be in at like 10 or 10:25. It was a random, but I remember it was 10. And I was getting ready to head down to SeaTac, and I got a call from his cousin. It was a number I didn't know, and I answered it, and his cousin's like, hey, his flight's delayed. He's not coming in until tomorrow.
Okay.
And I was like, really? I was like, well, why hasn't he called me? And he's like, oh, his phone died. I'm like, okay. So I called my cousin Lavelle, and I was like, hey, something's not right. Supposedly his flight got delayed. He hasn't called me. I had tried to get a hold of him, of course. And I was like, I can't get a hold of him. His cousin called me and said that the flight's delayed. But how does he know if the phone died?
Like, why tell you?
Yeah. So I'm like, what's going on here? Because it just wasn't making sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my cousin, I was like, will you go to the airport with me? She said, absolutely. So went and picked her up, and we were talking the whole time, and I was like...
So you went the time he was supposed to arrive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you didn't know, you just knew it got delayed, it was going to be the next day, so then don't go to the airport because he's not going to be there, was the message you got, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I, grabbed my cousin, we're on the way, and we're just going back and forth, and I was like, I know something's up, something's wrong. I'm like, with this, and this happening, leaving in the middle of the night, not being able to get a hold of him. He's supposedly at work. And, just venting. I was like, something, and my gut is telling me something is up. And when we got to the airport, I was like, I lied a little bit. I said that there was a family emergency and that my husband was flying in from New York, and I just didn't know which flight he was on. Could they give me his information? And they said that they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, but we'll tell you that I believe it was like Alaska and United were both coming in at the same, within like maybe like a 15-minute
okay.
lapse, or it was something super crazy, but it was on different sides of the airport.
Oh, okay.
So my cousin's like, I don't know, I have a feeling it's this one. And I was like, but what if it's this one? I was like, we need to split up.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I'm gonna go this way. She's like, I really have a feeling. And so I'm like going to my terminal, and my phone is ringing. My cousin's like, get over here. He just got off the flight, or like coming out of the terminal or whatever it was. And she's like, he's with a bitch. And I was like, what? So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So now we actually have to wrap up, because I know our time is up, and we are going to come back for the juicy stuff next. I'm so excited to hear.
Okay.
Do you want to get this last little part out, or do you want to wait? Because I feel like you could talk about the reaction, her reaction, all of that, but it might take longer than the time we have. It's up to you.
We can totally keep going.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm like, I book it, and I see her, and then I see him, and I see a female, and I'm like,
so you see your cousin first, then you see your husband.
Yeah. And then a female's very close to him, but she's like in the back, like she's like staying out of sight. And I think that there was so much going on with like, they're going to the baggage terminal, and that she blended in well. She didn't make herself seen.
Gotcha.
And so when I came over there, I tapped him on his shoulder, and he's like, what are you doing here, all defensive? And I was like, excuse me, what the fuck are you doing here? And I was like, and who's this? And he's like, it's my cousin. I said, that is not your cousin. I don't know her. Who is she? And then she goes, tsk.
What?
And
no, she didn't.
Yes, she did. And so I said, who the fuck are you? And she smiled at me. Oh. And so I walked up to her, and I said, who the fuck are you? Because you clearly know who I am. And she wouldn't say a word to me. She just kept smirking. And I was literally like, there was spit coming out of my mouth. I was so fucking pissed. I was like, what are you doing here with my husband? Who are you? Like, why aren't you talking to me? She wouldn't. And I had my hands behind my back and my fingers laced like behind my back. And I was like, I want to hit you. She goes, so hit me. And I was like, do you know I'm his wife? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, so I'm like, I started chest checking her. I did it 3 times. And I was like, just hit me. And she's like, no, you need to hit me. And I was like, you're a fucking bitch. And my cousin's trying to like tell me I need to stop. So, mind you,
because you're in an airport around a bunch of people.
Security's there. TSA.
Yep.
You know, like I could have easily been arrested for my part in what I did, but
you weren't thinking logically.
I'm seeing red.
Yeah, you weren't thinking logically.
Red. Yeah, like nothing is processing. So I have my cousin trying to pull me back by my arm, and he ended up like grabbing her by her arm, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I see his aunt and his uncle walk in. They came to pick him and her up. So this whole double life thing had been going on maybe the whole time, maybe not the whole time. I don't know how long. He never admitted anything to me. And I said, if you don't get in the car and come with me, we're done. And he's like, I'm not getting in the car. And I was like, if you literally do not get in the car, we need to talk. I was like, if you do not get in the car with me, we're done. And he's like, he wouldn't get in the car. And she had already gone off and out with his aunt and uncle. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck you. And my cousin was like, wow. Like, she's like, you are so disrespectful to him. She's like, clearly she knew about your wife, that you had a wife. And clearly you knew what you were doing. Like, what the fuck are you, like, what are you doing? Like, obviously he knew what he was doing, but you know, like she's like, what the hell? She's trying to referee. And then she's like, we need to get you out of the airport. Cause like, I mean, there's a spectacle going on at this point. The people that had just gotten off that flight are in the vicinity of where the baggage claim is. And
oh my God, that would have been so interesting. Obviously not a great thing for you, but to be a party to that and just be like, woo, eating a popcorn. Holy cow, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, we drove home. I was pissed. She drove my vehicle home because I was literally,
you couldn't drive.
I was shaking. I was angry. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And we drove by his aunt and uncle's and they weren't there yet. So we went back to the house. I started demolishing shit. I was breaking stuff. I was breaking stuff. I broke his PS3. I was flinging it around like it was a, I don't know. Yeah, basically. I was breaking his games, his expensive shoes, designer clothes, going over the balcony, you know, just getting tossed. And I stopped and tried to call him again. It went to voicemail. We went back to his aunt and uncle's house and he came out and I was like, are you coming home or are you staying? Because if you stay, you're not coming back into the house and we're like not talking about anything. Like, and if you come home, then I just want to know why. Like, what? I need to know what's going on. And he ended up coming home. My cousin was like, do you want me to stay? Do you want me to go? I was like, no, like, just, you can go. Like, you know, there was nothing, basically it was just going to be arguing.
Mm-hmm.
And, now mind you, I feel like it's going on 2-ish in the morning at this point. Cause the flight had gotten there in between 10 and 10:25.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, the drama that occurred. And then the drive
Mm-hmm.
home, going to the aunt and uncle's, coming back home, going back to the aunt and uncle's. So yeah, it's the middle of the night for sure. And he ended up coming home and I was like, who is she? And he's like, he stuck to his story that it was his cousin.
Oh, come on.
I know. I was like, she is not your cousin. She knows we're married. I don't know who she is. Like, who is she? And he's like, she's my cousin. She came back from New York. She's going to live here now in Washington. And I'm like, okay.
Then why wouldn't she say, what, dude, chill out. I'm his cousin.
Exactly. She wasn't.
Yeah.
And literally I couldn't get him to admit anything while I got his phone and I was trying to get into his phone and I went in the bathroom and I locked the door and I couldn't get into it. I was trying all these different passwords and when he realized I had his phone, he lost his shit. He came and like he was beating down the bathroom door and he's like, give me my phone, give me my phone. And I was like, tell me who she is, tell me the truth. And he was like, he just kept saying, give me my phone, give me my phone,
Yeah.
give me my phone. And he was kicking the door to the point where I was like, okay, this is gonna break and like the cops are gonna be called. And so I came out and I slammed his phone down. Well, his car keys were on the counter. And I took his car keys and went down the stairs, got in his car, threw it in reverse. He ran down the stairs and was like telling me to stop. And I was like, well, are you gonna tell me the truth and like what happened? And he was like, I told you the truth. And I was like, no, you didn't. And he's like, tried to open the door and I had locked the doors and he walked behind the car and I told him if he didn't move, I was gonna go. And oh my God. He wouldn't move, so I reversed into him and he started yelling and screaming. So I put the car in park and got out and I hucked his keys in the bushes and told him we were done. And I went upstairs, told him he needed to leave as I'm going up the stairs, and he left. And then we ended up talking the next day. Still wouldn't admit to anything. And I said, well, you're a liar. I'm not stupid. I've known that you've been leaving in the middle of the night. You've been weird. You know, I know you're cheating on me. And I was like, do you want to go to therapy? I was like, I haven't done anything to you like that I could think of, you know. I'm not a perfect partner. I wasn't the perfect spouse, but I didn't do anything to, like, he wasn't getting his needs shut down, or, you know, there was the intimacy was there. What I thought the communication was there. It wasn't great communication, but yeah, he just...
Did you ever figure out why?
No.
Ugh.
No. So like up till, so then I filed for divorce, and so this was all like December-ish, and I filed for divorce and it was finalized June 29th, I believe, 2016. And like we met at the courthouse and you know, I did all the paperwork and just put sticky note tabs where he needed to sign and initial everything, and he missed one signature, and the judge was not going to grant the divorce. But thankfully we were both there. We were both, you know, they asked us several questions after we were sworn in. We just had to raise our right hands, and I believe, I don't remember. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's patchy. We had to get sworn in that we're telling the truth, that we both agreed to the divorce. Like, he's like, this signature was missed. Like, are you guys, like, typically you'd have to sign it, refile, and everything would be delayed. But are you guys okay with, you know, moving forward? I was like, yes, please. Like, I just wanted that chapter to be done and over with. And so, our divorce was granted, finalized, and then he had called me and told me, like, so it was in June. So around August, I communicated with him because my mom was terminally ill, and she was given 6 months to live. So I just like let him know. I'm like, hey, just so you know, because he was close with my mom and my grandma and like family members. I just let him know, and he's like, oh my God. And then he ended up calling me and was like, you know, I just want to let you know, like, you are an amazing wife. You're a great person. Like, you know, I'm sorry for what I did and what happened. I was
what would you be sorry for? It was your cousin.
I said, are you going to admit what you did? What happened? Like,
yeah,
it's done. It's over with. Like, I appreciate the apology. He still wouldn't admit. To this day, he has well, we don't talk at all anymore. Like, I eventually like blocked his number and everything. I did allow him to come to my mom's funeral, but that's the last time I saw him, which that was in November of 2016. But I blocked his number and everything. No communication whatsoever. I don't even know his number at this point. And yeah, he still never admitted it to me. So yeah.
What a coward. I mean, you've been caught red-handed. The divorce is final. And you're apologizing, but come on. If you're apologizing, what are you apologizing for?
Exactly.
A wasted trip to the airport to see your cousin? Come on, buddy. Come on. Man, that is... I'm glad that you were able to catch him, though, because that was smart thinking. And were you able to actually... Because you were able to get into the terminal without a ticket?
No, I'm sorry. Not the... So, I've never flown because I have this weird, freakishly weird thing about flying, but I'm actually going to fly this year. So, it was like the main airport, like, so we saw them come out of the thing. Well, my cousin did. I didn't.
Where you can see...
Let me rewind.
Yeah. Because you split up.
Yes.
And so where, like, then people can just walk...
It was like a tunnel thing.
Yeah.
Or a hallway or something.
Yep.
And then when I came over, like when we all, like, well, when I met up to where they were, it was like there was the baggage claim.
Yeah,
like
got
that's
you.
the area we were in.
Gotcha.
I've only been to SeaTac like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. So, anything else you want to add? That's it, huh? Yeah. Well, we'll definitely meet up again because I know there's more stories to come. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
My current ex also had come to find out he had which this hasn't been admitted or anything, but like he's definitely a sex addict. He is also a cheater. We broke up a couple months ago. Well, I broke up with him. He was seeking encounters with others. And the thing is that I don't understand is why these men get in relationships when it's just a monogamous relationship. We're not in an open relationship. We're not polyamorous. There's very clear understanding of, this is monogamous. I'm not down with cheating. I'm not down with lying. And that's how I went into it with my last ex and
ex-boyfriend.
Yes, ex-boyfriend. Luckily, it was just only 9 months wasted, but I did move in with him. It moved fast as well. So the 2 relationships that moved fast have both ended in cheating. I just don't understand the culture. I don't understand why these people get in relationships, because if you want to be single and hook up with people and sleep with whoever you want to sleep with, you can do that and be single. Like, why bring someone in their emotions and their, why mess with them and fuck them up because you can't remain faithful?
I honestly really think it's just complete selfishness and narcissism, because I have felt that way before. I'm like, and even with me not getting cheated on in a relationship, why not just have the fucking balls to be like, I'm sorry, it's not working out. I'm not happy anymore. And that's because, and it certainly isn't just men, but I've only been in relationships with men. I can only speak from my part, which is, you know what? You're hurting yourself too, because you would rather not be in this relationship, but because you don't have enough courage to just simply say, can we sit down and talk?
Right.
You know what? I'm really sorry. I don't love you anymore. Or it's not working. That hurts. It hurts so bad to hear that, but it's so much worse. And even from a selfish standpoint, I don't understand why a person can't look and go, I'm hurting myself too, because you know what? I don't want to be in this and it's hurtful for me, but I don't have enough courage to simply say the words, I'm no longer happy. I want out.
And that's the thing too. I know it goes both ways, and I'm not just bashing on men. It's just I've been in relationships with men. I know that men and women do it, but I don't understand it. And the weird thing is that my current ex that just did all this to me, we had open communication. This was what I thought was the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. We communicated that. We spoke all the time. We had free communication where it was like, hey, this is kind of bothering me. Hey, this is kind of bothering me. Okay. Just, making intentions clear, just healthy communication as I thought. But and that's the thing too. And the person was in therapy and was like, you know, if I ever feel like, and my most recent ex did have a past of cheating. However, he did, you know, he's like, I promise you, I'll try my hardest not to do anything like that to you. Like, I don't want to get you where you were with your ex-husband or make you completely unhinged is what I called it.
Yeah.
But and I can't get into too much detail on this one because there's a lot to it and there's just way more to the story than I can even discuss right now. But when I can, I'm more than happy to do another interview because this one is going to be something that people will want to tune in for.
Oh, yeah.
It is mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
I was completely blindsided and like I thought, I thought that we were good because we spent so much time together. He communicated with me so well. I communicated with him so well. He was in therapy and wasn't going to do that again, but here I am.
Yeah, well, better to find out 9 months than 9 years.
Absolutely.
Because obviously, you know, it almost sounds like, you know, your ex-husband maybe had been doing it all along. Because how does the aunt and uncle, and I don't want to go too far off base because I know you need to go, but how can the aunt and uncle be like, oh yeah, we'll give the mistress a ride? Sure.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
like,
So
it was almost like, if that is the case, that you were the mistress in the way that they treated you, and they're like coddling the actual mistress. Like, what in the fuck is happening here? Has everyone lost their mind?
Yeah.
Has everyone related to you lost their mind?
Yeah, that was a full-on, like, double life, like, straight up.
Well,
I mean,
and
even my current situation that I was in with the current ex.
He was living a double life.
And he was a complete narcissist, and I did not see it until after the fact. You know what they say, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay. Well, thank you so much for everything. We will have a future interview and we will discuss that, but it could be a while.
Yes.
But hey, we'll get together another time just to hang out.
Absolutely.
It was fun. Thank you so much, Becca. I appreciate you more than you know.